All right, so we should be live right now on Company Car's website. Or Facebook. Yeah, we are. Start a watch party. So if you guys go hit and start a watch party, you'll be able to start it in on your own pages. All right. Is every...
I just hit start on the watch
Cool.
Together with friends.
You're going to watch with friends. I love it. Welcome everyone who is turning in. We are getting ready to start our Love in Time of Coronavirus live feed. We're just making sure that everyone is able to see it in our groups and on our social pages and kind of all over. If you are joining us, you are able to ask questions. Please make sure you go to the Company Car page to post your questions, because that's where I will see them. Okay. I am posting all of the stuff.
Hi, Jeff.
All right. Comments on hi, Jeff. Looks like we got a lot of people on here so far, and we're just letting other people join and making sure that all of our panelists are able to share it to their pages. I'm going to ask like one by one. Brooklyn, did you get it to your page?
I have it live right now. We're good.
Linda? Okay. Aaron?
I think so. I'm hoping. I see that.
Jamie?
Hopefully.
Okay, Jamie's good. And Megan, how are you doing over there? You got it?
We're good.
All right. Thank you for everyone for joining us today. I'm like sipping wine as I start this. To Love After COVID, I'm really excited to have the group of ladies that I have with me today. It's, as any of them will probably tell you, referring vendors is exceptionally in particular and important to us, because we want to make sure that whoever we refer not only represents our brand, but the effort and the product that we produce. And for me particularly, it's important because I don't own the company I work for. So I want to make sure I represent my company and everybody who I refer from our company well, because my boss has done a very good job of making sure we have a good brand for over 25 years. And prior to that, the Quay name has been known for not only ground transportation, but wonderful cars. So I can say that the 5 ladies I have with me today, I recommend. I think they do a wonderful job, and I'm very excited to have them with us today. So I'm going to take a second and introduce each of them. And I'm just going to start from the top of my screen and with Brooklyn from Brooklyn Media. She is not only a fantastic photographer. When our new website launches, you will see a lot of her work on our page, because she is somebody that we utilize for our own business. Her energy is addictive, and she not only brings wonderful energy to an event, but her photos are amazing. So I'm really excited to have her here. Next, we have Linda with Fleur Wedding Bouquets, and her work, you can see behind her head, is phenomenal. And I have recently, with COVID, become addicted to floral in my home, but it dies. So now I think I need to have Linda make me stuff at my house that doesn't die, because I don't have a green thumb. Next, we have Erin with Perfectly Planned by Val. Erin is a day of, but not a day of. She's a wedding, because day of is not what you do. You do every day. Like the moment you're contracted, you are on it for your customers or clients. So she is a fantastic planner. She takes care of everything from the moment you sign on with them till the end of your wedding day. And I bet you probably even do work a little after too, don't you?
Oh, yes. Follow up for sure.
For sure. And next we have Jamie with Rock the House Entertainment. So Rock the House not only has done many events for us, and I have worked with Jamie on numerous events. They are amazing. My picture for the lead up to this is from a Rock the House photo booth, not a photo booth. It's the photo mirror, and I love it. And it's like a 3-year-old picture, but it's still one of my favorites. It's not often that you can get a fantastic photo in a photo booth, because normally I look crazy, but they're on top of it. And Jamie brings high energy to anything that she is in. So I'm super excited to have her here. And last but certainly not least is Megan with Married by Megan. I recently had the privilege of being at a wedding that Megan was at, and it is the top. And I'm not saying this because she's a friend of mine. I'm saying this particularly because she's great at what she does. She takes pride in her services. She takes pride in being an officiant. And I think the word officiant does not fit her. She is like a planner, officiant, like the moment you contract her, and I know several brides who have contracted with her, she takes care of so much for you that she should just, there needs to be a new title, not officiant, like maybe queen officiant. So I'm super excited to have them all here. So let's get ready to start some questions. I'm gonna let each of you kind of take a second to start and maybe say something if you'd like. Just introduce yourself a little bit more. I'm going to start with Miss Brooklyn. So let me unmute Brooklyn. It's not very often anybody can say that you've muted Brooklyn. It's not an easy task to mute Brooklyn. So let's start with Brooklyn.
Hey everybody, thanks so much for having me again, Nina. This is such a pleasure. I know everybody's under a lot of pressure, and this is just such a crazy, insane scenario that nobody ever thought they would be in. But rest assured, all of the vendors here that you'll hear talk over the next hour are definitely going to be able to help you out, including myself, at least I hope so, provide some guidance and make sure that you're not, super nervous about your day, make sure that everything works out and is perfectly planned for whatever you desire for your perfect day.
Awesome. All right, next we're going to go to Linda and see what Linda has to say. Also, not a quiet. All the women on this board are not quiet people. So let's go to Linda. Linda?
Hello. Thanks a lot for having me on tonight. I hope those of you who are watching will learn something tonight. Maybe at least calm your fears down. Maybe we might be able to explain things for you as you move forward in your planning for your wedding. We want nothing more than for your day to be absolutely everything you want it to be, no matter what the circumstances are. And I know that all these ladies will work as hard as they can to give you exactly what you've been dreaming of. Thank you.
Thanks, Linda. I'm going to go to Erin now. Erin?
Hi, everyone. First of all, thank you to Nina and Company Car Limo for doing all of this. Like, it's just a great thing for all of our couples out there. Whether or not you thought about the P word postponing or not, these are going to be some questions that guaranteed will come up in the next few months because everything is unknown. And I think my goal for this, because unfortunately, like, we don't have all of the questions and the answers. My goal for this is to help our couples and everyone's couples here understand that you're not in this alone. Like, we're all in this together and we're here for you because, like Linda said, like, we want nothing more than for your day to go off flawlessly, whether it's this year, next month, or next year. Like, we are just here for you. And I'm honored to be among all these ladies because these girls all rock. So yeah, I'm excited. Thank you, Nina.
You're welcome. Thank you. And we're going to go with Jamie at Rock the House.
Hi, everybody.
Or Rock the House, as they're calling it right now.
Here we go. Yeah, I'm Jamie Kravitz. So I'm a lead entertainer as well as a business development relationship rock star with Rock the House. And we are just ready and willing and ready to jump in and advise you with all of these questions and give you the most educated answers that we can provide, because we are here for you every step of the way. And it's just amazing how quick, a 15-minute phone call, how much we can learn and be ready to guide you through this process step by step.
Awesome. Thanks, Jamie. And last but certainly not least, we're going with Megan with Married by Megan.
Yeah. Hi. Thank you so much to Nina and Company Car. And it is such an honor to speak alongside all of these other accomplished wedding professionals that are talking tonight. Unlike most of the others, I think Linda might be the only exception. I've continued to marry individuals or couples in the pandemic. And I think that puts a really unique spin on things. Weddings can still occur. A wedding only takes a couple and an officiant. So we can also talk about that P word that Erin mentioned a few moments ago. It's not intimidating. We can make this happen, and your dreams will still come true, and you will end up married. It's not the end of the world, even though you feel like your world may be crashing down on you since you've devoted so much time to wedding planning. But let's make this happen. Ask your questions.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. I'm going to bring everybody on now. We made sure we have a lovely picture of the background of Cleveland up there because we are all Cleveland proud. And, oh, everybody's there. Yay. So I'm just going to start. So I asked earlier today, I asked people to get on the Company Car Instagram and just ask some of us some questions that they had. Again, if you have any questions, post them in the comments. Make sure you're posting them in the comments on the Company Car page, because if you post them on one of the other ladies' page, I'm not going to see them. If you guys see a question that's on your personal page, let me know, or go ahead and answer it, and we'll go ahead and answer. But I can only see the ones on that page. So let's start with Megan.
Oh, no. Oh, boy. Sip.
So, yeah, I actually told all the ladies, since it was an evening, we were allowed to have wine. The wine I chose is not only a local wine, because I support Ohio right now. It's one of my favorite wedding venues. This is Breitenbach, where in my area of Tuscarawas County, where I'm from. So I'm Breitenbach First Crushing tonight. So supporting local, supporting weddings. That's my jam right now. And basically, I'm at home drinking wine. So, Megan, let's start with you. Where did Megan go? Okay, we're not starting with Megan. Megan's gone. So we'll wait till Megan gets back. So we're going to start with Erin then. Erin, what should couples take into consideration when determining whether or not to postpone, especially those May and June couples?
Okay, so that's a great question, because that's so right now. I've only had one postpone into August, I believe, at this point. Our owner, Val Semick, though, she has actually, I think, is proceeding with all of her June weddings as of right now, maybe but one of them. I think right now, the biggest thing that you have to consider, without any numbers from the governor, because unfortunately we just don't have those numbers, we're just now going to begin the very beginning of phase 1 of opening up the state on May 1st. And your wedding could be 2 weeks after that, 6 weeks after that. But at this point, we don't have numbers. So what we've been advising our couples whose weddings we're going forward with is to scale back. So obviously plan for your 200 plus guests, but scale back and maybe go from 200 to 150, and then do another one down to 100, another bracket down to 50, and then maybe even lower, like 10 to 25. But basically just determine which guests are in each bracket, so that when we get that number, you know exactly who's going to be at your wedding. Ultimately, I say the same thing for our June, or rather for our July, August, September, and beyond weddings. We don't know what this number is going to be. As industry professionals, we can kind of project what that number is going to be through the end of the year, but we don't have answers, and none of us do until the governor gives us those figures. So talk through those with your fiance, and then talk to your friends and family too. Think about who you want at the wedding. There are going to be people who can't travel in or aren't comfortable traveling in. There are going to be family members with immunocompromised systems. And then there are going to be like older family members. Even if you can have 100, 150, they may not be comfortable coming. And you have to really prioritize, like, do you want grandma there? Do you want like your closest friend from out of town there? I mean, you do. And if you want to have the date now, then go forward with it. Megan touched on that in her introduction. Weddings can happen now. And then maybe you can throw a celebration next year. But I think specifically talking to our May and June couples, your invites are probably already out now. And that's probably something that's kind of pressing because you've invested in those. Fortunately, everyone in the industry, at least in our community, maybe we're lucky, but a lot of people are being very generous and accommodating. Minted, I believe, is one of the websites, and Shutterfly is another website that they are offering discounted rates for reprints of your invitation. So if it's last minute and Governor DeWine comes out and says that you can't have over 100 people at your wedding and you choose to postpone and we support you through that whole process, you can go to those companies that you got your invitations from, and some of them will give you a discounted price to send out new invitations for a later date. But ultimately, just notify us and we'll guide you through it. Like I said earlier, no one's in this alone and we're here for you. So I think scale back is our number one suggestion.
You're muted. Oh. A little bit more.
Hey there, Nina. Can you hear us? You are currently muted, but if we unmute you, we will be ready for moderation. You may just have to do a little manual tap.
There we go. Got it. All right, thanks, guys. See, this is why I'm a sales director, not a technology person. I should have rocked the house with this. So, yes, I think that all of us together, we monitor the wedding boards. We're all there, and we've seen a lot of brides who have come forth and said, we have weddings coming up, and we want to go forth with them, but we don't know 100% where we're going to be a month from now, and all we can do is listen to Governor DeWine and what he advises. But in my heart and from listening to them, I really don't feel that these large weddings of over 100 people are going to be happening in June. And you also have to take yourself into consideration. And is it something that you're going to want to do in June? Are you going to want to go to a wedding of over 100 people and just be on top of each other? So just be mindful of that. Talk to your vendors, ask them what their rescheduling policies are. We've had a ton of rescheduling. You just got to get together, talk to them. And a lot of your vendors know each other. So don't be afraid to say, hey, I want to redo my wedding. Will you guys all get on a Zoom call with me and let's chat this out? Because we all work well together. We'll do that for you. So I'm going to go back to Megan now that Megan's back. And it kind of speaks to what we were just talking about. So Megan, have you currently performed a ceremony during the pandemic? And if so, what was it?
I have done two. The first was at the beginning. I believe it was March 21st. It was supposed to be my March 28th couple. They bumped it up the weekend before, because I think the 22nd or 23rd is when the actual lockdown, everything really closed down. They have talked of having their larger celebration in June. And by larger, it was really only going to be 40 people anyway. But even that is going to be pushed back now. But they just wanted to be married. They didn't want to have to pay for another marriage license. It was one more thing. They had already been together a number of years. So we just gathered at Coe Lake with, they both brought their parents, and I think one of them brought their siblings. It was under 10 of us. We definitely had some social distancing going on. But I married them. It wasn't anything official. We didn't pay a Coe Lake permit. Shh, don't tell. But, it lasted 15 minutes. It didn't have all the things that a normal ceremony would have. They had previously sent me their written vows. They didn't include that. They want to hold off and share those at the when we do the bigger wedding. But they did my usual I do's, and they did exchange rings, and they did have family members tuning in on Facebook Live and things like that. So I've talked to them a little bit about what they're wanting. I do believe this might be another question of yours, Nina, but when couples have those two separate ceremonies, how do they handle the second ceremony? I leave it up to my couples. Do they want it to be a vow renewal, or do they want it to be as if the first ceremony never even occurred and it's just your typical original wedding ceremony? I can do it either way. Far before this pandemic ever occurred, I have plenty of couples contact me that they want to get married on the down low, and they aren't going to tell anyone, and they just want to get it done before their actual wedding day for whatever reason. Maybe they're not agreeing with family, or maybe they need to get somebody on married for insurance purposes or whatever. I don't care. It's none of my business. It's your life. I just want to see you married. Same thing for them. So it doesn't matter, pandemic or otherwise. I'll do what my couples want. It can be a vow renewal in the future or an actual wedding. So that's one of the weddings I've done. The other, I did in my driveway. It's what I call my sign-in drives. You come to me. I don't really perform an actual ceremony. It's just the bare bone basics. Do you take him? Does she take you? I pronounce you as married. That's all you legally need for a ceremony. And I sign the marriage license on the hood of their car and mail it back into probate court. It cost me, or I charge couples $20 for that. That's all they wanted. They don't have any intentions of actually having a larger ceremony down the road. So yes, I've married someone in my driveway in Parma, Ohio. That'll be a story I'll tell for years in my house. But I've also done that similar kind of ceremony in numerous Starbucks and Paneras. So despite the pandemic happening, things really aren't much different for me. Couples are still wanting ceremonies in the way I've performed them for years, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so that was one of the questions that we had, but also Julianne has messaged on the chat, and she wants to know, how often do you do vow renewals?
Maybe a half dozen a year. I've tapered back in recent years since my husband and I became foster parents, so it's not quite as often, but even then, they're not super huge. But I also, like the couples that I just mentioned that kind of get married on the down low, I don't even put them in my vow renewal like mindset, because they're still my regular like big wedding couple. And really, my ceremonies aren't that much different. I actually use similar I do's. I just changed the wording. Will you continue to, or do you still, things like that, as opposed to will you, do you vow to, blah, blah, blah. Because it should be those same promises. They shouldn't change from what you did on your actual wedding day, if that makes sense.
So I read that question very differently. How often do you, but you're officiant, so you get it. How often should a person do a vow renewal is how I read it.
Oh, that? My mom and stepdad actually do it every 5 years. I don't know why. It really depends on the couple. Some couples never do a vow renewal. My husband and I, actually, no, we're not the greatest example of this, but some of my couples that do a wine box at their wedding, where they do it for the unity, they put a bottle of wine in it, and then I have them put their wedding vows folded up into the wine box, seal it up, open it up every anniversary, drink the bottle of wine, reread your wedding vows, and you're kind of remembering the promises you made to each other on your wedding day. Put in a new bottle of wine, put your vows back in, or maybe write notes to each other. And then it's like you're doing a vow renewal every single year. It's kind of fun that way and something to look forward to on your anniversary. I mean, how often a couple does it, that's really up to you. Some choose to do it after, getting through a rough patch, or maybe something like cancer or any other medical thing. You've made it through this together. Let's renew our vows and remind each other. Whenever your heart's desire. I can't give you an answer on that.
Okay. I've been with my boyfriend for 11 years. We are choosing the non-marriage route in life. So I'm just going to renew our dating anniversary. That's what we're going to do. Megan wants to marry us like right now. So
yes. You have a whole team right here.
I do. Kind of the best wedding ever. So let's go to Brooklyn. Brooklyn. So the question for you was, we should probably unmute you. We want to showcase our current life with COVID in a few engagement shots. Do you have any creative thoughts on how to do that?
So personally, I think that it's kind of a little obvious that since we all are quarantined, mostly to our homes, I would assume, that we just incorporate our homes into it. I don't see why we can't take life as it is now. Everybody loves their sweatpants. Everybody's maybe wearing a cute little cuddly t-shirt or a hoodie or something. Like, why don't we just go in the kitchen and stir up some cookies together? Like, it doesn't matter if they burn. That's okay. Like, we're in quarantine. Nobody's judging you here. Definitely want to just make it a more fun thing than it is like a serious, super romantic engagement, because in all honesty, engagement shoots, sometimes there are some quirky times, and sometimes there are some romantic times, and sometimes there are just times when you just really want to laugh about things. And that's really what we need to focus on, is those happy times. And if that means, you know, maybe hanging out and making some burnt cookies, or even maybe, you know, cuddling up on the couch with Netflix, or maybe even just hanging out in the backyard and having a little mini bonfire. We can totally take photos of all of those great things and capture all of those little moments, because those are really the moments that you're going to remember, especially being quarantined and not being able to go out and, you know, do all the things that you might want to do for your engagement shoot.
I love that. I just need you to come to my house and shoot photos of me sitting on the couch.
Girl, you know I will.
I know. All right, let's go to Linda. So Linda, if I postpone, will my wood and silk bouquets be okay?
Yeah, they'll be absolutely fine. I've had weddings postponed where they already picked their flowers up, because my couples always have an option to get their flowers within 2 weeks, within 2 months of booking, or the month before their wedding. And those that already had the flowers were like panic stricken. And I was like, they're silk and wood. You know, they're not going to rot for you. Yeah, they'll be fine. All you need to do is keep them away from animals and small children, and blow on them every once in a while to keep the dust off, and you're good.
So a lot of people, like Floral Wise, have said that there's been some issues getting product in. Are there any issues getting your product in to create your bouquets?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. International shipping has killed me. I mean, well, I mean, it hasn't killed me, but I'm having a harder time importing my wood flowers from India. I get some from Pakistan, India, yeah, mainly. And they're not allowed to ship during this time because all the shippers are closed down. And sometimes somebody wants a little special, I don't know, a certain kind of rhinestone in their bouquet if they want it blingy. I'm having a hard time finding some of those things. But when I do find them, I buy tons. So, you know, I do have things in reserve. But yeah, it's bothering me a little bit now. I want this all to end.
So what for a bride who's getting married this fall, what would your suggestion be for how early they should order?
Right now.
Okay.
Yeah, because I have weddings booked next year. The thing is, when I quote them a price, they have 2 weeks to review the contract and get it back to me. I can only guarantee their price if they are locked into it in advance. So as soon as I book a wedding, I do get the flowers together that I'm going to need to dye or whatever, and I bag them and put them aside. So, you know, as a result, I check with everybody before, you know, it gets close to the wedding to make sure we're still on, you know, well, no, not still on, but do they still want their flowers early? And I've got some bags hanging around for next year, but pretty much it hasn't affected me as far as brides wanting their flowers. Maybe it makes them feel good to go into spare bedroom and look at them once a week. I don't know. But yeah, the sooner the better for me.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks for asking.
No problem. Rolling over to Rock the House now with Jamie. So, Jamie, we had a question that says, music at our ceremony is very important to my fiance and me. We met studying music in college. The DJ we had scheduled for our wedding originally, or their wedding originally, said they will not do just ceremonies right now. Is this a service Rock the House offers?
110%. You know, something that we really focus on with Rock the House is our ceremony sound engineering. And I really feel like with COVID-19 that this is a great time to really put your love and focus and attention into that ceremony and personalize it. So it doesn't matter where we're helping you or assisting. Rock the House is ready to jump in and take care of that ceremony sound for you, as well as, let's say we want to broadcast it to your family and friends because only a handful of folks can be there and physically be there. So what we want to do is we want to be able to offer you the best solution for the circumstance. So for that specific couple, 100%, we can take care of your ceremony sound engineering in a heartbeat, whether that's indoor or outdoor. We could be in a bar where there's no power. We have generators. You know, there's a solution for every problem. So all you need to do is just pick up that phone, give us a call, and we can talk through these issues. But I really do see that now I think the focus may be on the actual ceremony the most. We can have a reception in a year where we all can be with one another and really interact. But at this moment, let's take the time to personalize and really showcase the ceremony, because that's really what it's all about. It's about unifying as a couple.
Awesome. If anyone could make something out of nothing, it's Rock the House. When this all started going down, I'm super impressed, and I have to put it out there. Matt and his team, the team of owners at Rock the House, spent a whole day making food for their employees that they could pick up. And I thought that was absolutely amazing. Like, they're just like, we are event entertainers. We're barbecuing some chicken today. So they are amazing. Not only they
we love a good barbecue,
right? You guys throw a good party.
We do.
So I thought that was just absolutely amazing. So I guess I'm going to jump to me. So one of the questions that we got was, we know that company car does global transportation. We're looking at honeymooning in Europe this year. Will that happen? So I don't speak for the EU, but I do know that Spain did say today that they will not be letting travelers in for that for the rest of the year. At this point, they are just really kind of keep it hunkered down and limit the exposure. I've talked to some couples in the last few days who are getting married this year, later in the year, and their dreams are hopefully going to Italy. And it could happen. You could be there. I mean, they could open the borders. I don't know, but I don't see it necessarily being something that's happening. If Spain's saying no, Italy's borders still aren't open, and anything can change. We don't know when we're going to get a vaccine, and we don't know when any of that's going to happen. But just play it by ear. I wouldn't necessarily be booking that European travel right now, but I would, or have an extended honeymoon. My brother, when he got married, he was getting deployed. They did their honeymoon 2 years later. So I don't think it takes away from anything. It just definitely, you want to be better safe than sorry. And you for sure don't want to be stuck in a country that you can't leave. I think that's taught us more than anything. So I'm going to go to an everyone question that came in. So unmute everyone. So someone asked, will vendors be wearing masks at weddings this summer? Let's start with Brooklyn.
Definitely plan on wearing a mask as long as it doesn't inhibit my photographic abilities, which I don't think it will. And since I won't be in any photos, I don't think it'll be really a visual distraction, if you will. So just for my own safety and just for the safety of my brides and grooms and, you know, the officiants and everyone who's going to be attending, I definitely feel like a mask would be a good idea, at least for photographers.
Awesome. Linda, you're not at weddings, but Linda?
No, well, even when I deliver stuff, though, now I wear a mask and I wear gloves because I want them to think I want them to know that their flowers are not infected. Yeah, I don't go to weddings, so that's a non-issue for me. But if I was a guest at a wedding this summer, I probably would wear a mask.
All right, Megan.
I think I am very unique in that I'm in a crap ton of ceremony photos. So I will actually completely leave it up to my couple. If they want me to have a mask on, I'll wear a mask. But I'm also very much okay with not, because I am very cognizant of the fact that I am in so many photos and I don't want that to draw attention in the photo. I purposely always wear a plain black dress in weddings because I don't want the attention on me. And I think a mask might draw that. And so I'm leaving it completely up to couples.
Cool. Erin.
So I personally think that, yes, we will be. We're very behind the scenes as far as pictures, like Brooklyn mentioned. And to, Megan's point, we aren't in photos. Intentionally, we dress very to blend in, just like casual black, like business casual black. But I fully intend to wear a mask because I think it's our responsibility. Seeing as how we go from wedding to wedding, we are in contact with numerous guests. There's no way to social distance all the time. So I think it's just my responsibility as a professional to prevent the guests because we don't know who's immunocompromised or not.
Awesome. Jamie, you're kind of like Megan. You guys are in some photos. So what's your guys' stance on that?
Just a few and videos too. So Rock the House has been and will continue and always will be following all CDC and government regulations. And so that means we are putting our clients and employees' health first every time. We're going to do it right and make a rec every time. So whatever that means at the time of that wedding is what we're going to be doing.
Awesome. So for us, we currently are listed as an essential company. So we are still working now. We obviously do medical professionals and airline crew. So our chauffeurs are wearing masks at this point. We've also instituted having hand sanitizers in our vehicles. Look at here. I have some at my house. So I took a whole bunch for me. I don't know, hand sanitizing in my house. I don't know. But we, chauffeurs aren't in photos. We want to make sure you're safe as possible. And yes, our chauffeurs will be wearing masks. And that's just kind of where we are until, like Jamie said, the CDC says differently. So I saw a question that came across from Natalie. Natalie, I saw you asked, what about Mexico for your honeymoon? Shout out to Natalie. My cousin Angela's in her wedding, and she's a good friend of hers, so I love her. So I don't know about Mexico. I really would play it by ear. And if you're booking your wedding, I'm a huge fan of travel agents, like till the end of time, a huge fan of travel agents. I know there's Expedia and all these third parties, and my previous life prior to transportation was in hotels. And I'm going to tell you 100% travel agent it up. They'll take care of you. They'll let you know what you need to do or not do, and what your cancellation is and how you can proceed without making sure that you're going to lose your money if something happens that you can't get into Mexico. I really feel that international travel for some time, in 2020 is going to be difficult. We don't know when the president is going to reopen the borders to international travel to certain places. And Mexico is one of those places that is now frowned upon. So just pay attention to that. Talk to a travel agent, see what your cancellation options are. I know with us, airport transportation, we have a 2-hour cancellation. It's always been our policy, and we will continue with that being our policy. So you can always cancel ground transportation, hotels, airfare. I know that flights have been really, really accommodating. My boyfriend was actually today supposed to be flying to Las Vegas for the NFL draft. Obviously, none of that's happening. His phone is a jerk and gave him a reminder that he was supposed to be on a plane right now and made him real sad. So, but yeah, just pay attention to them, ask questions, and make sure that you have a solid cancellation policy. No one wants to lose money over any of this right now. All right, I'm shooting back to I'm going to go to Megan and Erin on a question. So, because I think they both will have input on this.
Okay.
So my mother wants to still have a receiving line at our August wedding. I think it's too soon to be hugging so many people one after another, but my mom says it's rude not to. What are your thoughts, and do you have alternative options you could suggest to her?
Megan, do you want to go first, or do you want me to take it?
Nina knows how heated I get about receiving lines. They are awful. They are so outdated. I hate them. They are evil. I think I've done maybe 3 or 4 in the last 2 years, and I do a crap ton of weddings. No, just no. They are frequently outside in the heat, especially now. You want to have an outdoor wedding to kind of lessen the chance of transmitting. So you're in the heat, you're standing maybe on grass that is sinking. It's not fun. You want a cocktail. Your belly is empty. You just want to get inside to the air conditioning where there's food and beverages. And no, you don't want to stand in line to hug someone. I'm taking hugging off the table. That's not even my issue. Receiving lines are just incredibly outdated. Table visits are the answer. The bride and groom are always fed first, whether it's buffet or plated. They always attend to the bride and groom first. As soon as you're done eating, hit the floor, start going around the tables. Hug or don't, that's up to you. But you control how much time you spend at the table. If you're taking too long, your DJ or even a maid of honor can help you along to the next one. You control how much time you're spending. Don't waste too much time with the receiving line, especially if you haven't done a first look. You need to start getting pictures done as soon as your ceremony is over. And I'm sure Brooklyn would agree with that. You've wasted so much time with the ceremony already. It's not wasted time, but you've spent so much time with the ceremony and no pictures have really been done of the two of you. You got to get to that. So that's my take. I hate receiving lines. They're awful. Go. No, hold on one second. It's much more fun to do table visits when you've got a full belly and you have a cocktail in your hand. Tell your photographer to join you and they can get a lot of great candid shots. One of my favorite reception shots is when I'm sitting down at a table with all of my husband's baseball coaching buddies, and it looks like I'm telling them what to do in life, and it's just kind of cute. But I'm glad my photographer captured that. So table visits are the way to go. Erin, what do you think?
I'm on the same. I'm definitely on the same page as you are, for sure. Honestly, the mom, she's validated. It is rude not to thank your guest, but Megan's point, and anyone's point, photographer, coordinator, DJ. Table visits are acceptable. Receiving lines are a little bit outdated. I've seen them, but they're not as common as table visits. You have downtime before the formalities kind of kick up after dinner. And I think, obviously, our bride agrees that hugging people is too soon. You have control in the situation of table visits if you can maintain social distance. And it's up to you whether or not you allow hugging. If you want to hug, you have an idea of who is going to be compromised as far as, passing along the virus, even if you're not showing symptoms. So table visits, 100%. Receiving line, outdated, but let your mom know you're still thanking guests on a personal face-to-face level.
Brooklyn, I saw you bouncing around with some sort of idea over there. What do you got?
I definitely just think I completely agree with Megan and Erin. And in all honesty, when you really do look back at your photos, the last thing you really will see is just, especially during a hug, you'll either see your face or the other person's face. You really won't see both of your faces unless you do that awkward butt out hug that no one should ever be doing past college. So please don't. But I definitely think that table visits would be a really, really great option, especially for the candidates. That would be a lot of fun.
Awesome. So I just actually got a text message from my boss, Steve. He was watching us, but it's 8:45 and it's past his bedtime. And he said, everyone's doing a wonderful job. He's going to bed. So
Thanks,
I was like, I appreciate you. He will be the person in our office at 4 a.m. making sure that flight crew gets picked up. So he has a pass. All right. Let's go to Linda. Linda, how long does the process take if we planned a small private ceremony in May? Is that enough time to get floral from you?
Yeah, I have a quick turnaround time. If you read my reviews and recommendations, one of the things they talk about is that I'm quick and good. But I would rather you didn't wait until the last minute but you know, now's good. And can I say one more thing that has absolutely nothing to do with me?
Yes.
I waited 25 years for my honeymoon, and we spent almost a month in Paris. So having that honeymoon 2 days after you get married, or even the year after, it's not that big of a deal. I still loved him 25 years later, and I loved him even more when we were at the top of the Eiffel Tower and he gave me a 25th anniversary ring. So that's it. I got nothing else.
So
I know. That makes me want to cry.
That is wonderful. I want to go to Paris right now. I'm looking at your flowers behind you, and I've seen some amazing photos of some color combinations that I did not think were going to work. You were like, this, she wanted the rainbow. She skittled up her flower bouquet, and it totally worked out. It looked amazing. So you make magic out of whatever is thrown at you. So I appreciate that.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's nice to be appreciated by other vendors, but I especially like when my brides tell me, I love what you did. You're awesome.
You are awesome. Let's go to Jamie. How is Rock the House working with their clients on postponing events?
So we completely understand it is a very difficult time for everyone at this moment. And we've been working very closely with our clients to accommodate in the least stressful manner. So current couples are postponing to future dates. And because of that, we are just working on a case-by-case basis. But because we have a large roster of amazing rock stars, we still have tons of availability. So as we keep booking out, do not fret. The best thing you can do is to reach out as soon as possible to not only your entertainment vendor, but all your other vendors to ensure you can keep that seamless team that you originally wanted for your original date.
Awesome. I get that's kind of a good question for everyone else. Brooklyn, you go.
So as of right now, I've actually only had one of my weddings fully have to reschedule. We're still pending on a date with her and her fiance. But at the same time, I definitely feel like as long as my brides are super open with me and just let me know that there's a concern there, because I do have quite a few throughout the fall and even this winter. I definitely want to make sure that I'm accommodating everyone's needs. I definitely don't foresee any cancellations, at least on my end, for any of my brides and grooms. But I just want to definitely reassure everyone that if they do have any concerns, to please reach out to me. Please let me know what dates you're thinking about. I do have a lot of availability still left in 2020 and in 2021. So I really don't foresee any big issues or even small issues with rescheduling. I would much rather have my brides be comfortable and reschedule than to feel pressured to keep their date.
Awesome.
I can actually, if I spoke kind of to both of them, like after what they said.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I think the role of a coordinator is helpful.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like both Brooklyn and Jamie are amazing and like help their clients with it. I think having a coordinator, that's already kind of what we do leading up to the wedding a month or so out, is helping you guys coordinate between all of the logistics between coordinators. We're the point of contact between you and the coordinator at that point. So even if you didn't sign up for a planning package with Perfectly Planned and we're just wedding management, we are 100% going to help you through that. That's what we've been doing. So we always advise, talk to your venue first, see what dates they have available for you that they're letting you extend out to. We can compile that list with your DJ, with your photographer, with your officiant, with your floral, with all of your vendors. And we also ask that you prioritize your vendors. So maybe you're like, I absolutely need Brooklyn and Jamie. Like Rock the House and Brooklyn Media is exactly what I need. I booked these people out 2.5 years ago. Or I booked, I have a very personal relationship with Megan or, anyone, and you need to have them. We can prioritize those in the document we give you. so that you'll be able to visually see, okay, you know, maybe 5 out of my 6 big vendors are available. We're going to pick dates that the important vendors are available, because unfortunately it's not going to be every date. So we walk you through that with every vendor. So obviously every vendor is accommodating. You've heard that from all of us, but also like we're just kind of an objective third party. So you're going to be hearing information from mom and dad. You're going to be hearing information from your bridal party and pulling you in different directions. We're that objective third party who kind of handled a couple postponements at this point. So we kind of know exactly what to have you focus on, but we can take the stress of coordinating those dates and those logistics of postponing for you. And that's kind of our goal. So we work with everyone here that you see to make sure that the dates work and that's not another stress for you.
Awesome. Linda?
Yeah.
What do you think about if there's postponing, like how are you guys preparing for that?
That doesn't really apply to me. You know, like I said, that didn't come out the right way. But what I meant to say was, I don't deliver a day of. So, you know, they get their flowers when they want them. I had a bride who was supposed to be the beginning of May, postpone until next year in June. No biggie for me. You know, her flowers are tucked away safe in a big bag, and, you know, I'm good to go when she's ready to go.
Awesome. All right, Megan.
I've only had 2 postpone. Ceremonies can still happen or postpone. I'm very flexible.
That's true. In your driveway.
Yes. Very true.
All right. While we got Megan here, we'll just go with her. We want to do a wedding time capsule due to current circumstances as part of our ceremony. Have you ever done this? And what would you suggest putting in it? And would you involve the guest?
I have seen it happen once at a very good friend's wedding. And I actually sent him a message because you did give me a heads up on that question. And I asked him what percentage of his guests participated, and he thought about a third. I asked if he knew what was in it, and he said a lot of it was like personalized notes. Some people made handmade items, and I think that was about it. If you're going to do it, I think you should allow your guests to be a part of it. He included it in with his wedding invitation, obviously, so people would come prepared. I will say I didn't participate in it at his wedding, but just mostly because I didn't know what on earth would I put in. However, with the pandemic going on, I think there are many more options. How could you not throw in a face mask and a couple of pairs of gloves into this time capsule, given what's going on in life right now, especially if it were maybe masks you wore at your own wedding? That would be kind of cute. So I think it's definitely something unique. I've seen a lot of things happen at weddings, but that is a very, very rare one. And I think it would pay a lot of honor to this time that we're living in.
I'm putting toilet paper in a time capsule if I'm at a wedding right now.
That would be such a cute one.
I'm going to sign it. All right. I'm going to give it everyone. When is your first wedding? And how far back would you suggest weddings of more than 100 people reschedule for? Let's start with Brooklyn.
So I actually have a wedding in 2 weeks. It is a very small Thursday wedding. Very excited for my bride. We're being extremely careful because she is, you know, planning to have less than 10 people. Definitely just planning on probably having an hour or 2 of coverage, at least photography wise. So just planning on capturing really just the ceremony, her vows, maybe a few little photos afterwards, but she is postponing the rest of activities until later this year. In all honesty, if you can, I don't see why there's any reason not to postpone until next year, to be honest. If you're really in love with your date, I would definitely say just change the calendar year. I know 2020 is, you know, the Gatsby year. It's definitely a lot of people are thinking of that theme. A lot of people are really attached to the date in 2020. But at the same time, I definitely would love to encourage my brides to just think about, you know, when your wedding is and how far away it is exactly, if it's within the month, if it's maybe next month, 2 months. Definitely just play it safe, especially if you want everyone to be at your wedding, especially if you want, you know, your grandmother, maybe an immunocompromised bridesmaid, or anyone who may be at risk and who may become sick of this terrible virus. Definitely just, I would say, play it safe. And there's no reason why we can't make accommodations next year. I know that sounds really sad, but at the same time, definitely think for everyone's safety, and especially going off of what Jamie originally said with the CDC and with all the doctors telling us, definitely important to just keep in mind that, you know, we want you to have a long, healthy, and happy marriage. We don't want you to be married for a little bit of time, in all honesty. We want you to be married a long time. We want you to be celebrating all those anniversaries. So maybe, you know, putting it off a little bit longer might be a little bit of a struggle and a little difficult and a little bit of heartache, but in the long run, I definitely feel like it's definitely a better option. At least for the bigger weddings.
Gotcha. Erin.
Okay, so I'm pretty much on the same page with Brooklyn. I know most of the vendors are on the same page when it comes to this. You can't speak for everyone, and we can only kind of guesstimate what the industry expectation is for numbers of guests per event, and that includes your vendor. So we just kind of want to point that out, that if they put a 100, I'm just throwing it out there, 100 or 50 person max, that includes everyone, just like the 10 person does now. It includes Megan, it includes that photographer. So we don't know what it looks like by the end of the year. It could be maybe a max of 100 people at the end of the year. I mean, like our first wedding, I think I said earlier, is in June, and we're going through with all of them. So I have postponed one of my May or June ones, but as right now, the June ones that our owner has, those are going forward. And it really just comes down to what, even to Brooklyn's point, what you and your fiance want. Do you want that big celebration with everyone, or do you want that smaller, intimate ceremony and celebrating later? Really just talk it through with your fiance. It's a very personal decision. So we're not recommending one way or the other. We simply can't because of how personal of a decision it is. So decide what's important to you. But please, please, please postpone if you choose to. You've already invested a lot, and we want to give you that dream day, whether it's smaller and now or whether it's bigger and later.
All right. I'm going to go with Jamie because I think that Linda and Megan really, it just kind of doesn't really matter for those two. Linda's not there, I'm not there, and Megan marries you regardless of where you're at. So Jamie?
Yeah, so currently we do have events scheduled in May, but we are on standby at all times. You know, we have all hands on deck at this moment at Rock the House. So we're on standby with all of our clients. Should they choose to postpone, we are ready. So we are seeing, obviously, that trend. You have to make the right and safest choice for you and your family members, and your loved ones. As for when to postpone, when to set that deadline, that is completely up to you. And that is something that none of us, unfortunately, can answer. You've got to find something that's going to be the least stressful on the both of you, as well as really take time to discuss this. Have a Zoom call with family and friends, your closest loved ones, not too many, not too many cooks in the kitchen. But you want to make sure that you really talk this over and prepare that, let's say we needed to do a postponement for the one that's booked for May. We're ready. Anytime you need us, we're ready to rock.
Awesome. So the next question is going to go to me. We hear horror stories about dirty limousines before this. What did you guys already do to keep your vehicles clean, and what are the extra steps that you're doing now? So we've always kind of been on top of it. We have a detailer. Our detailer makes sure that everything is clean before or after you get in the vehicle. Our chauffeurs make sure to maintain cleanliness during your entire reservation and your route. How we have switched at this point is, as I mentioned earlier, our chauffeurs are now wearing masks. We're now offering the hand sanitizer for our customers. And we also are, while we wiped and cleaned down our vehicles in between customers before, we're doing a more thorough job with making sure our chauffeurs are wearing gloves for this, and that they are using Lysol and a more high intensity, like cleaning chemicals. We want to make sure that anything that's touched from the time you enter the vehicle to the time you exit the vehicle, we're cleaning. We're not touching your luggage. When you give us your luggage, we're picking it with gloves, but we're going to ask your permission. Do you mind if we wipe down the handle with Lysol? If you're going on your honeymoon and we're putting that in the vehicle. When you go and get picked up at your wedding or on your way to the ceremony while you're in there, like the dashboard for where you touch a radio, we're cleaning that off. We're doing whatever we need to do to make sure you're safe, we're safe, and everybody's safe. And that's something we plan on continuing. And I really just don't see that ending. So it's kind of something that, we've always wanted to make sure that you always step into a clean vehicle, regardless if it's in the middle of your reservation or the beginning of your reservation. But we're just going to keep doing it. And my chauffeurs are there to clean. They love it when I give them extra cleaning jobs to do. So Brooklyn, when do you think couples are going to be able to get engagement photos again? I just got engaged and want pictures in the summer. Will that be allowed?
Well, I definitely think, especially with what everybody's saying about all the social distancing guidelines and what the CDC is saying, as long as you're in a group of between 5 and 10, I feel like that's being really kind of fluctuating right now. I definitely think that it is possible as soon as we kind of start to open things up, as soon as some parks open back up. I definitely think that it's possible for, especially potential, two fiancés, bride and groom, or bride and bride, or groom and groom, whichever decides to come along with us. And then just me, definitely that would be under the amount that they recommend. So just the 3 of us, maybe even adding a pet, or maybe even if a parent needs to come along, or if an assistant needs to come along, that would still put our number under 5. So I don't feel like that is completely outlandish to think that you would not get summer photos. I definitely think that that is very doable. But just seeing, especially in the state of Ohio, seeing what the announcement comes at the beginning of May, and trying to make sure that we're still respecting those guidelines, respecting that social distancing. But I don't see any reason that we shouldn't be able to at least capture a few photos for the summertime, capture that special moment. And then if all else fails, we can revisit it at a later date.
Oh no.
You're still muted, Nina. Sorry.
Oh, Nina.
I will not ever unmute myself. So I know that Governor DeWine's office has touched on this, and we've been in communication with his office about things, specifically this broadcast. And a lot of people's perception is that May 1st, he plans on opening, and it's going to be like, yes, you can do whatever you want. We're not Georgia. We plan a little better than they do. So, he's taking it very cautiously. When he says he's opening things, he's opening limited things based upon what our health counts are and where we are at that point. He's obviously extremely cautious. He's been cautious. Don't think because he opens the government, that means that, or certain businesses, that means we're going to have 100-person weddings. That's not what he's saying. And he spoke out to it and said, that's not what he's saying. He's saying, I'll let you know right now when he needs his haircut. He's going to open the barber. He's been very convenient about prioritizing what is best for our health. And we just need to listen to him and follow his path. Cause, I've been very impressed, and I don't know if other people, I try to stay non-political on things, but I've been very impressed with his procedures and how he has handled the state of Ohio. And I think that we are in a really good state that we should just listen to what he has to say.
One more little addition, if I can.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that if you do have a scheduled time, and you are feeling under the weather, I want to make it very, very clear that it is completely okay, especially in this time. I do not have rescheduling fees, so you won't be charged extra if you need to change your date, if you need to change your engagement, if you need to change your wedding. There's no fee for this because no one could have seen this coming. No one could have called this. And I definitely don't feel that punishing the brides and vendors charging those extra fees is really kind of reasonable in this time. So I'm definitely waiving all of that for all of my clients. So that way they don't have to worry about it.
Nice.
Real quick to add to that, when we coordinate that for you, we try to put in the document we send you with the list of dates and vendors and that visualization. We also put in there like what those penalties are, because there are some fees or whatnot. It's just a contract because unfortunately it is a business, but a lot of vendors are being very accommodating, like Brooklyn, like Perfectly Planned. But we outline those for you so that that's something you have up front as well. And I wanted to add that.
Awesome. So Aaron, while you're there,
Okay.
I have two questions. I'm going to let you answer one. I'm going to combine them into two questions since we're already over our time. Do you think it would be tacky to offer mini hand sanitizers with our wedding info as a favor? And would your service be willing to provide day of temperature scans to our vendors to ensure their health?
Okay, so I'll answer that first one because I love that idea 100%. I think it's cute, I think it's practical, and I think it's topical, which is my favorite combination. So 100% do that. I even think your guests will get a lot of it. Like, that is so good and just so right in the times right now. So go for it. That's amazing. That second one, I like that question, made me laugh a little bit. So unfortunately, I think that's just kind of outside our scope of service. That probably even teeters into some liability concerns. We work with great couples, and our couples always choose amazing vendors, and those businesses treat their employees amazingly. And I'm pretty confident that they're on the same page as we are, and they're going to treat their employees and correctly and follow the safety procedures and protocols that we would proceed with Perfectly Planned for our wedding. So if someone's not feeling well, they shouldn't come in. And honestly, if you're running a temperature, the business should enforce that, and you individually should enforce that. That's not necessarily an indicator of if you're safe, though. If you're already showing symptoms, that doesn't necessarily mean that's the only time that you're going to pass it along. So not only is it out of our scope of service and our scope of practice, but it's also not a good indicator of anything. However, we would be more than willing to maybe contact the vendors when we're doing that pre-work anyhow with the vendors and coordinating those logistics to make sure that everyone is on the same page, so that we know that they're following those same precautions or taking those same precautions we are. I'm confident that any of our preferred vendors and recommended vendors and any of the ladies here, the top priority is your and your guest safety and health. And I'm confident in that. I don't know that we would be able to take temperatures though, sadly.
Yeah,
good question. I like those.
It's kind of put a look at Rock the House has their own hand sanitizers too. Yeah, I think that it's the requirement of the company. My boss still goes to the office every day just to do just that. He takes temperatures and makes sure they're washing their hands and everything's clean with their feet. Only Jamie has a beat to hand sanitizing. So I like a hand sanitizing TikTok video. That means I'm going to Jamie. Jamie.
Yes.
The same bride who asked about the receiving line sent a question to you.
Okay.
So she wants to know, her mom wants to do a dollar dance for her wedding. I fully intend on greeting and thanking guests, but I'm also taking precautions with hand sanitizers and trying to practice social distancing. What do you think about the dollar dance? Is it a good idea? Do people still even do it anymore? And what should I do to avoid doing that?
Well, here's the deal. We are beyond happy to advise with any questions that do come up. But before we offer that advice, we want to have some time to chat with you for a bit, just so we can understand your overall vision, your family traditions, the things that are really important to you as a couple. So to understand that in a better detail, we really want to take that time to have like a 15-minute phone call. You'll be shocked by how much we can learn from there. And then we can help you make that right decision about the dollar dance, the receiving line, etc. But we really want to make sure that we get to know you one-on-one, and we can give you the right input every step of the way. And I do know that for anyone who is watching tonight, we are offering a special upgrade if you do fill in one of our inquiry forms. So no matter what you book, whether that's a photo booth, whether that's ceremony sound with our microphone for the officiant and for the bride and groom, or bride and bride, groom and groom, full reception, whatever you need, we want to offer that upgrade. So all you need to do is send in an inquiry form and mention this Q&A session, and you're upgraded.
I love it. Megan, you have opinions on this. I saw your face. We all did. We need to go in. Officiant Megan, what is your thoughts? I am unmuting you now.
Oh, good. It's probably not in my best interest to share my opinion on the dollar dance, but I am clearly not a fan. No, I think guests give such generous gifts, especially guests that will be attending in this pandemic. To ask for a few more extra bucks? Really? It just, no. I'm going to shut up now. But no. Unless it's some crazy, like, family tradition, then just don't ask me for my money. It'll be in the card.
Gotcha.
That is all.
Not doing a dollar dance either. While you're here, we want to get married outside my mother's nursing home so she can look out the window and watch the ceremony. Is that something you do, or is it too close to that type of facility?
Funny you ask. I actually work in nursing homes at my full-time job, so I have no fear. I will get right up to the window so grandma can see nice and close. And actually, that would not be my first nursing home wedding either. As long as the facility is okay with it, I would want to know that, ask their permission, because they're also doing their due diligence and having someone even on the grounds. If you're bringing a whole family on the grounds, they may have concerns with that. But most facilities will probably be amenable to that. But I would absolutely be happy to do that.
Awesome. So Brooklyn, coming in and unmuting you. My fiance and I just got engaged. Are photographers like yours already filling up for 2021 weddings due to the weddings moving? If we have a July 2021 date, are photographers like yourself already booked?
Actually, going to get a little bit technical with you on that one. So a lot of people think that after they have a consultation with a photographer that they're like, oh, okay, we're good. We're all set. Yes, we are good, but at the same time, we need you to make sure that you sign your contract and get your retainer/deposit in to really book your date. As of right now, I really don't have too many deposits in for 2021. I do always let my brides know, though, that, hey, there is another inquiry on your date. If you're really serious about it, I want to make sure that, you get that booking in. Just trying to afford that courtesy of letting people know, like, hey, this is where we're at. This is where someone else is at. Just trying to make sure that we don't upset anyone or that we don't, completely block off the date if it's not actually taken yet. So I definitely think that making sure that you contact your photographer and ask them if they have any other inquiries on that date or in that month, that's the most important thing that you can do. And I definitely believe that communication is key. And in all honesty, to communicate it out there, no, I really don't have a whole lot of bookings in 2021 yet. So if you are looking at moving your date the entire calendar year, definitely reach out, definitely chat all the photographers up that you've been talking to and seeing all those possibilities and making sure that you find the right fit and making sure that you book us on up.
Awesome. So I'm going to leave you on, and I am going to add Megan in here because this is a question that came from Megan, but Megan said that it was one she kind of asked you for some advice on. Megan, you have to unmute yourself. It told me I'm not allowed to unmute you because you muted yourself. what are some outdoor locations that are free that you suggest to have your ceremony on now? We want something in nature, but don't know a good spot. Can you give me a recommendation?
I have a list. Brooklyn, do you want to go?
I was going to say, let's hit Megan first, and then I have a couple rogue ideas as well.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I wasn't listening just now. I think you said free. Some of these you should probably get a permit, but most of the permits are $150 or less. Oh no, wait, are you moving people around? He's confusing me.
It's just us now.
Top of the list, and one of my most frequent places I go is Squire's Castle. Do know it's a public place, so you need to be aware others will be there, even if you have a permit. But people are usually very respectful that a ceremony is being performed. The Cleveland Cultural Gardens, I love the Italian and the Hungarian the most. You should get a permit, but it's very reasonably priced and beautiful. There's so many options there. David Fortier Park in Olmsted Falls is adjacent to the covered bridge. I'm not sure if permits there, but there's so many photo options. Coe Lake, again, you should get a permit, but there's the pergola, there's the pavilion, the gazebo, and just the water in general. There's so many options for photos there, and it can be rather private. The metro parks, they're endless. Find your favorite spot. Is there a place where he proposed, or a place where that is just special to the two of you? So many gazebos on Medina Square. Ely Square in Elyria is really pretty. There's a beautiful fountain there. Highbridge Glen in Cuyahoga Falls, which is right next to the Sheraton, is beautiful. I've done 2 weddings there. Many wineries will possibly let you use their property as well. And the Cleveland Public Library would appreciate a donation, but other than that, it's free. Brooklyn, what do you have to add?
Definitely piggybacking off of all of that extra fun stuff that Megan said. Fantastic, amazing ideas. I'm a huge fan of parks. I absolutely think that bringing nature in is really wonderful. I also think that we need to kind of think a little bit more out of the box, especially nowadays with the quarantine and everything. Even your backyard or your parents' backyard, or maybe, you have a piece of property that you absolutely love that you grew up on. Definitely even making a simple little arch and just having a nice little intimate ceremony in the backyard. That way you don't have to be dragging people around. That way you don't have to be worrying too much about going and having infectious areas or anything. Definitely feel like that is a really nice little area, a little nice space that you can kind of make your own and Pinterest it out.
Totally agree.
I'm back. Okay. So I'm going to go with, I have one more question that came for me, and then I'm going to do one more question for all the ladies, and then we're going to let you guys go. So, everybody's here. The question that came was, do you suggest more space in party buses and limousines or guest shuttles than you normally did before because of COVID-19? Yes, I do. I always over suggest a party bus, and it's not price related, it's space related. I'm not a tiny human. So and the standard Megan's laugh. So the standard party bus size per person is 140 pounds, 5'7". Okay, that's not a lot. So if you have a 20-person party bus and you're 140 pounds or over 140 pounds and you're over 5'7", you're counting for more than one person. So I've always and will forever say to step up. But now, so more than ever, just because people don't want to be on top of each other. They don't want to be rubbing shoulders. They don't want to be tight with each other. I mean, there is wine and beer and booze involved in the bus, but you don't want to get wasted before the wedding reception either to be comfortable touching people. Yes, size up double. If you're looking for guest shuttles, talk to us, call us. I will do a consultation with you. I am forever and always before this not been a fan of the giant vehicles for guest shuttles. Because it takes forever to load a giant vehicle. You can load a smaller vehicle, have it go, and have it come back in less time than it does to load a giant vehicle. So you're waiting for people, and grandma's on the bus, and your friend from college is doing shotguns of beer in the room, and he's late, and we're waiting for him, and grandma's mad. Like, don't do it. Talk to us, get suggestions. We will make sure that based on time and logistically that we choose the best route for you. And remember, the 140-57. If I tell you that this is a 10-person limousine and all of your friends are like me, there's only 4 of us getting in there. So you gotta prepare. So I'm gonna end this with a final question for everyone. Boomer has me laughing. What is your guys' cancellation policy currently? And if not, what are any COVID sales you're currently offering? I'm going to go with Brooklyn first.
So cancellation policies, I try really hard not to cancel any of my weddings. I definitely love my brides way too much to let them go. Not trying to be creepy, but do not have any rescheduling fees or anything. So even if you change your package from 8 hours to 2 hours, even if you decide that you want to do another day, even if you decide that you want to do a ceremony now and then a reception later, that's something that is completely doable. So I'm more than happy to help you out there. But if you do need to cancel, I will miss you. I'll be sad about it, but I understand.
Oh, I love it. Megan?
I'm very flexible. I don't really have a policy. I'll move a retainer. I don't really have much to add on that one.
Do you have COVID sales going on?
No.
What is your is your elopement package less than your COVID or than your regular ceremony?
Not having a rehearsal. So whether it's an actual true elopement with just a couple, even a couple of guests, or just they don't need a rehearsal because they don't have a wedding party, that would be the same price because it's the same amount of work for me.
Okay.
So it's really where the ceremony is and if there's a rehearsal. That determines the price for me.
Awesome. Jamie?
Yeah, so once again, we are doing, it's a case-by-case basis. And of course, postponement is ideal. The great thing is that, you know, with our capacity, with our large team, we're ready to jump into action with these dates. So the quicker that you can get to us, the better. But we will not let down our clients. We are ready to move and shift and do what it takes to work with you to make this day the best day of your lives.
Awesome. Erin?
Okay, so I'm kind of on the same page as everyone else. We are pushing postponements. I have a lot of flexibility in my schedule with it, pushing those out. So we are pushing postponement. You asked the question what our policy is. I believe at this time we haven't been asked to return any retainers. I think brides and grooms are being understanding from both ends. So we haven't needed to return any retainers at this point. We're doing it on a case-by-case basis, I think, because we're really pushing for postponement. So I've luckily not had to refund any retainers, but that's a conversation that we can have if cancellation is your only option. But we've gone over in the last hour and a half now what all of the options are. You've invested a lot of time, a lot of money, even if it's not in just the deposits, but a lot of money in decorations, dresses, all kinds of things. We don't want you to cancel. We want to give you the best day. So whether it's a small ceremony now and a larger reception later, we really do push postponement. And we are willing to work with you, like I said, work with you, work with your vendors to make that happen. So that's our policy. Please consider postponing, not canceling, because it's just as important to us as it is to you, honestly. And that's kind of the stance.
Awesome. Linda?
I'm a little different than other people that are wedding vendors, in so that once your contract is signed, your flowers are put aside for you. So if you cancel your wedding, you forfeit your retainer. The contract is very clear about that. But postponement, I'm your girl. You know, I know this is tough, and even under ordinary circumstances, life happens. So if you need to postpone, I'm good. Just, you know, cancel is the only problem that I have. The last thing that I want to mention is, and I know this sounds really tacky, but bear with me, it is kind of like a COVID sale. But what it is I know that money is really tight right now for a lot of couples. And I know that they're trying to have the prettiest flowers that they can have, but they want to have it at a good price. I have never done packages before, and I will probably live to regret this, but I did make up packages that are whatever. They're on my website. It's on my website. It's on my Facebook page, and it's priced accordingly. You get a flat amount of bouquets, corsages, boutonnieres. You're good to go for, you know, even an elopement wedding. And, you know, I encourage people that are on a fixed budget right now, you know, no judgment here. I could possibly care less about what size bouquets you get. I just want your wedding to be beautiful. So that's it from me.
Awesome. And what is your Facebook page they can find you on so they can look at your specials?
Fleur Wedding Bouquets, FLEUR Wedding Bouquets.
Awesome. So for us, we have a 50% non-refundable deposit on our weddings and our larger vehicles as a standpoint. We will reschedule without any sort of penalties or anything like that based upon vehicle availability. If your wedding is next month and you were to reschedule for May next year, we may have already booked a bride on your date. So if you want to downgrade to a vehicle that is a less price point, we're going to refund the money that is for the lesser vehicle. If you want to upgrade to a vehicle, we're going to try to price match you on your current vehicle for the upgraded vehicle. One step up, like we're not going like 80 steps up. So we just want to make sure like it's similar. If you're canceling your wedding, our policy has always been, will always be for vehicles over 14 passengers. If you cancel within 30 days, we're going to refund your policy. Anything under 14 passengers, you have a 2-hour cancellation. So we're very accommodating. And we are probably one of the only companies for guest shuttles that we don't require you have a 4-hour minimum. You can book an hour and you can book 2 hours. You can amend what you need to do. We don't require that you book 4 hours at one time. So, and same being told, if you call in advance and say, hey, it's 2 hours from now, no one's at the hotel or no one checked in, we don't want our shuttle, it's under 14 passengers, we're going to go ahead and cancel it. Which is also why I tell people that don't, book with a company that'll take care of you and offers those type of procedures. I think one of my biggest pet peeves in life is people who suggest to couples to rent vans for their guests because they're not going to get the same kind of performance and they're not going to get the same kind of experience as having a chauffeur that's helping your guest in and out, who's wearing a black suit, who is prepared for your event, and they're 100% going to follow safety and security procedures now more than ever. So make sure you always look before you book with limousines and ask for your cancellation policy up front. Ours has not changed, and we will always be transparent with that. So just talk to your companies and make sure that you're getting the best possible deal and best company, and check their safety and security ratings 100%. I spoke to this at an event in September, and I have had couples reach out to me afterwards that said, I do not see a DOT number on this vehicle. What is going to happen? My answer is don't die. So make sure you check safety and security and make sure that they're legal. So I am done. We are done with the questions today. I want to thank everyone for being on there, and I can not stress enough how wonderful they all are. I'm going to let each of them say goodbye and give you an opportunity to know where to find them online, should you have any questions or look to book services. Again, they are each fantastic. If you choose them for your wedding day, you will not be sad about it. So let's go with Brooklyn.
Hey everybody, find me on Facebook and Instagram under Brooklyn Media LLC, and then also on my website, brooklynmediallc.com, or you can just go ahead and directly text me if you have my number, and if you don't, grab a pen. I never do this. But it's 440-382-6254. The internet now has it. Have fun, everyone. Have a great night, and thanks for tuning in.
Megan.
marriedbymegan.com or on Facebook, Married by Megan. I would love to chat with many more couples. Wedding officiating is so near and dear to my heart. And I did the math while I was sitting here. 243 couples as of March 14th was my last one. No, wait. Oh, I forgot one. 244. I forgot the driveway one. That's 245. Okay, I'm with it now. Linda, don't shake your head at me. Anyway, my number's on my website, so I'm not going to make you write it down like Brooklyn. But let me know if you need an officiant. I love my couples dearly, and I love being a part of ceremonies. Thanks for joining.
Jamie.
All right. So you can reach us in many ways. If you go to our website or even just Google us, the best way to find us is at RTH for Rock the House, rthgroup.com. If you want to fill out that inquiry form to get that free upgrade for being part of today's event, you just want to go to that main page and there's a nice rectangle that says contact. Click that and fill out that form for us. We also can be found on all of the social medias. Even our TikTok page is pretty lit lately due to quarantine. So you want to just look for @IGotRocked, because anytime you work with Rock the House, you will be rocked. Or just slide into my DMs and I will link you to exactly who you need to speak with.
Jamie, you are a single lady. Do not tell people to slide into your DMs.
I need some DM.
What? I thought I was Lizzo. What?
Erin.
All right, so you can find me, Erin Sparks, on Instagram. I'm one of the first ones that should pop up, but Erin Sparks on Instagram. Our company website is perfectlyplannedbyval.com. You can go to the menu and then click hello and fill out a form to say hello to us. You can also find Perfectly Planned under Perfectly Planned on Facebook, and then Perfectly Planned by Val on Instagram are our business pages. But again, you can reach out to us. You'll see our pictures on perfectlyplannedbyval.com. And again, just reach out to me personally. I slide into my DMs on Instagram, like I said, Erin Sparks. But either one of us can help you out if you go to Perfectly Planned's Instagram. And again, thanks for joining us. We had a lot of fun tonight.
Erin is not a single lady. Men do not slide into
No, I will screen those not followers DMs, by the way.
Linda.
Do not slide into my DMs. Seriously. This is when I wish I would have picked an easier business name. Calm down, Jamie. An easier business name to spell. You can find me on Facebook at Fleur Wedding Bouquets. Oh God, this is not going well. And I'm not drinking wine. Or you can find me on the internet at floorweddingbouquets.info. Thanks, Megan. And finally, you can find me on Instagram at #FloorWeddingBouquets. Just, check me out, get back, leave me a message. I'll get back with you. And good night, Gracie.
They should be all tagged in the event as well. So they should be able to find us through Company Car and Limousine's post.
That's correct. And if you are not on Company Cars watching this and one of the other ladies, you can find us on everything is at Co-Car Limo. And you'll be able to find all of our service at companycarlimo.com. You'll be able to see our website after May 1st. May 1st, we move to our new website with all the new fun additions, and including photos by Brooklyn Media. And should you be watching this and you are not a bride, but you are a corporate employee or corporate planner, I do know that Brooklyn Media, Rock the House, and myself are all universal. So we are on everything. So reach out to us, let you know if you need anything. We're super excited we're here. We're probably going to be launching another Wedding Wednesday next week with some wedding venues. So reach out to us, check us out then. I'm so excited to have everybody here. Thank you, Brooklyn, Megan, Jamie, Aaron, and Linda for joining us today. This is a fun time, and I will see you all soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.